Hey everyone, I'm Pixel, and welcome back. Today we're diving into the internet's greatest hits. The weird, the wonderful, and the absolutely ridiculous moments that literally shaped the internet as we know it. Did you know the first spam email sold $13 million worth of computers? That a dancing baby became an internet sensation by accident? That a 21-year-old kid sold pixels for $1 million and dropped out of college? The internet's history is absolutely bonkers. And in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you the 10 artifacts that prove the internet was always going to be weird from the start. Let's go. Okay, so imagine this. It's 1978. Email is brand new. Nobody knows what it is. And some guy named Gary Thuerk decides, you know what would be a great idea? Let me email 320 people about computers. Gary was a marketing manager at Digital Equipment Corporation, and he sent the first ever spam email. 320 people got an email about the new DEC System 20 mainframe computers. And the internet's reaction? Absolute chaos. One person literally claimed the email broke their computer. The U.S. Defense Communications Agency called his company to complain. People were furious. But here's the crazy part. Gary says he sold $13 to $14 million worth of computers from that campaign. So basically, Gary invented spam, pissed off the entire early internet, and made millions doing it. He's literally the reason we get 1,000 emails a day about discount vitamins and crypto scams. And the term spam? That didn't come until years later, named after a Monty Python sketch. Gary doesn't get credit for the name, just for ruining email forever. Thanks, Gary. Fast forward to 1982. Carnegie Mellon University. A student posts on the bulletin board that there's a mercury spill in the physics department's elevator. Other students read this and panic. Is this real? Do we evacuate? Should we call someone? Then one student realizes, oh wait, this guy was joking. But nobody could tell because it was text. There's no tone of voice. No facial expression, nothing. So this computer scientist named Scott Fahlman goes, okay, I got an idea. What if we use these little face things? And he proposes, for jokes and for serious stuff. It sounds ridiculous now, but this was actually genius. People started using it. It spread, and boom, the smiley face was born. If that student hadn't joked about mercury spilling everywhere, we wouldn't have smileys. We wouldn't have emojis. We'd all just be angry at each other online forever. So basically, one joke about a spill literally invented a way for humans to show emotion on the internet. Pretty wild. Okay, so there's this guy, Karl-Heinz Brandenburg, working on something called the MP3 format. Basically, how to compress music so it's smaller. Compressing instrumental music was easy. But then Brandenburg tried to compress a human voice, and it sounded absolutely terrible, distorted, unnatural, weird. So what does he do? He finds this song called Tom's Diner by Suzanne Vega. It's just her a cappella, no instruments, and he uses it as a test. He's like, if I can make this voice sound good, I can compress anything. And he's not exaggerating. He makes hundreds of tweaks to the algorithm, hundreds, all because one song was too hard to compress. Finally, he nails it. And Tom's Diner becomes the first ever MP3. Here's the kicker. Brandenburg eventually meets Suzanne Vega in person and tells her the whole story. And Suzanne is like, my song is the reason MP3s exist? Imagine that. You're a musician just trying to make a song, and decades later you find out you accidentally invented the format that would dominate music for the next 20 years. So before there was the internet as we know it, there was FidoNet. It was basically a network of bulletin board systems, BBSs. People would dial in through their phone, post messages, then disconnect. At some point, someone realizes people are using all these weird abbreviations and emoticons, LOL, ODM, all kinds of stuff. So they publish a newsletter trying to catalog all of them. Hey, here's what people are saying now. And that's where LOL makes its first documented appearance. LOL, laugh out loud. The 3 letters that would eventually replace actual human laughter on the internet. Okay, so in 1989, This guy, Tim Berners-Lee, writes a proposal for something he calls the World Wide Web, just casually inventing the thing that would change human civilization. Then, in 1990, he actually builds it. The first website, info.cern.ch. What's on it? Boring stuff. Explanation of hypertext, how to set up a web server, technical documentation. Nobody would click on this today. But here's where it gets funny. Tim builds the first web browser to view the website. He calls it World Wide Web. Very creative. Then he hosts the website on a Next computer and, this is my favorite part, he tapes a handwritten note to the computer that says, "This machine is a server. Do not power it down." Tim Berners-Lee literally invented the internet and then had to tape a note to his computer begging people not to unplug it. Imagine that. The most important machine in the history of technology, and it's just sitting there with a post-it note. So the first photo ever uploaded to the World Wide Web wasn't a cute dog or a celebrity. It wasn't even interesting. It was a photo of an all-female band called Les Horribles Cernettes. They worked at CERN, the same lab where Tim Berners-Lee invented the web. And they sang parody songs. Like their lyrics were, "You never spend your nights with me, you only love your collider." I'm not making this up. They made fun of scientists' obsession with the particle accelerator through song. Tim Berners-Lee was apparently a huge fan, because of course he was, so he uploaded their photo to the first website. The band later said, "This photo was one of those that changed the web from a platform for physics documentation to a media for our lives." So basically, the internet, where weird things become important by accident. 2005, a 21-year-old kid named Alex 2 from England is thinking, "I need money for college." Most people get a job. Alex gets an idea. He creates a website with 1 million pixels. He sells them for $1 each. Or you can buy a 10 by 10 pixel block for $100 and put your ad there. That's 1,000,000 pixels at $1 minimum. Do the math. $1 million. Companies go crazy. The Times of London buys pixels. Online casinos buy pixels. Random businesses buy pixels. The site gets 200,000 unique visitors a day in the first month, and Alex is just watching the pixels sell. Every pixel a tiny digital billboard. The last 1,000 pixels, those get auctioned off for $38,100. Because by that point, everyone wants to be part of the meme. Alex makes $1,037,100 total. So what does he do? He enrolls in college, goes to his first semester, and then says, "Nope, this isn't for me," and drops out. A 21-year-old made over $1 million by selling pixels and then decided college was boring. That's the energy the early internet had. So there you have it. 8 absolutely wild internet artifacts that shaped the internet as we know it. From spam emails that made millions, to the first smiley face that accidentally invented how we show emotion online, to a dancing baby that became a meme by accident, the internet's history is totally unhinged. And the craziest part? Most of these people had no idea they were making history. They were just doing weird stuff on a new platform. And boom, they accidentally changed the world. But here's the thing. There are way more artifacts like this. The first Amazon order, PizzaNet, the $1 million homepage, the first YouTube video, the first tweet, Napster. The list goes on. So here's my question for you. Do you want a part 2? Because Pixel and I can definitely break down the rest of these internet moments that changed everything. Let me know in the comments if you want more artifacts. If you do, we're making part 2. Thanks so much for watching with me and Pixel. Drop a like, subscribe, and tell me which of these 8 artifacts blew your mind the most. I'll see you next time.